we go, getting into Champion Select for the first game of the quarterfinals of Worlds 2018. The two squads have had some time to think about how they want to go about this, how they want to approach this series step by step, game by game. And as we get into the bans, it's KT taking Akali out of the picture while Nocturne is IG's first ban.
Important note also, KT Rolster came in with side selection in games 1, 3, and 5. They chose blue side for game number 1, so that means either Rookie or the Shy very likely to have a powerful counter pick available. Let's see how KT uses blue side, because usually the first order of business is setting up a big first pick.
Yeah, a big first pick that has flexibility. Your big point there, Papa Smithy, about the solo laners here from Invictus Gaming having a counter pick is very big. So KT Rolster need to think about that. We already see some of them off the board here. Aurelia, Akali, and Ryze all banned, all flexible picks. That does leave the Urgot and Aatrox matchup up, and KT Rolster, once again, have opted for the Aatrox side of it.
And this is a symptom of the Korean teams, who largely have seen Aatrox as favorable into Urgot. Worth noting, a bit of a data point, is that KT and IG played a best of one at Rift-Ride. It was a very serious best of one, where it was Aatrox mid lane from Yukal just after the Aatrox rework. So a very real chance, depending on matchup, we could see the Aatrox flexed around.
And a big thing for Yukal, especially here at this tournament, has been to play a mid lane champion that brings some CC to a team fight, as well as can play safe in the mid lane if necessary. Doesn't call for a lot of extra help from the team. We've got Swain, Lissandra, Galio, Sion, these sorts of things. Aatrox as well can build very offensively and then use his ultimate revive for a similar effect.
But we do see the Aatrox and the Urgot, those two big, powerful solo lanes we've seen so much of throughout the tournament so far, locked in by each side, as well as the Rakan in that first rotation for IG, putting priority on getting that initiator, that engaged support for Balan in the bottom lane.
So a couple of days have passed. We should note that, of course, Xayah first pick for KT so frequently in the group stage. Notice that Xayah isn't picked up, even to rip it away from the Rakan for the potential Lovers bot lane. The priority on champions like Kai'Sa have kind of been group-specific. You think to RNG and C9's group. That pick ended up being deprioritized, but KT have been playing a lot of Kai'Sa as a team that defaults to 1-3-1. The Kai'Sa can even come in for a lane gank at times with the killer instinct. So far the Kai'Sa's picked up, and now actually potentially a takeaway from Ning's champion pool, a first-round Xin Zhao from KT Rolster.
A takeaway from Ning and the Kai'Sa, as well as being a great champion for Deft and KT as a whole. It's also been 6 out of 7 of Jackie Love's plays so far, so a good deny there as well.
Now, KT Rolster, with this last pick jungle, I expect them to come through with 2 more jungle bans. Xin Zhao is a jungler that does not back down. This champion, very strong in dueling, especially early on in the game, and they could throw 2 more bans at Ning, who is a guy that IG have been, kind of 50-50 with. Sometimes good performances, but also a lot of risky plays that can be punished.
And let's talk about effective champion pools. The champions are actually looking good on winning, passing the eye test on. With Ning, it was definitely Xin Zhao, but also the Camille, one of those real LPL-specific picks in the jungle especially, but also a flex pick champion as well. No jungle ban first, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Camille banned away from KT unless Scrim meta has really moved away from a Camille jungle.
When people talk about Ning, they talk about Camille, Xin, and Zac. Those are the 3 champs I always hear people say that's what he's competent on, that's what he's good on. We've seen him have one very good Zac game so far at Worlds as well. We'll see what IG wants to go for as KT does get towards their last ban.
Now there's picking Zac into G-Rex and winning that game, and there's picking Zac into KT Rolster, an early jungler that cannot skirmish. That is insanely risky, but it's a best of 5, it's only game 1. And like you say, it is comfort, but if you're going Zac, I like it as a last pick, not early.
And they actually don't throw any jungle bans at him. They feel like just with the Xin Zhao pick, that is enough to dissuade them from going something like, Zac that does have to scale up. So, maybe we will see something more early game here. I think it is necessary because you cannot allow KT Rolster that much freedom in the early game.
Now, what Xin Zhao usually gives you is a winning 2v2, and mid lane priority has been such a core thing this year. Lulu Xin Zhao is one of those famous duos that may even be considered here. Kind of a rollback to what Yukal was playing at the start of the season. But right now, we're unsure where the Aatrox is going. They clearly need a support and maybe some playmaking, not just the Kai'Sa ultimate, the Shen ulti as well.
Shen being hovered. Remember, Shen can go both the top lane or the support position. So now we've got a couple of different champions on KT that IG isn't certain as to where they're going to be going. Thinking now about more solo laners indicates that Shen is probably going towards the support role. And we'll see what KT decides to do here. They know they're up against Lissandra and Urgot, and Galio is the pick.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was expecting when we were talking about UCal being more team-focused champion picks. That's kind of why they been out LeBlanc and Syndra, more of the lane-dominant kind of solo AP threats in the mid lane. Galio picked up combos extremely well with the Kai'Sa. Shen, Galio, and Kai'Sa is kind of the triple threat that people always talk about as far as protecting that AD carry and having the flexibility to go for initiation as well.
And while it's not 2v2 Lulu's in, Galio's in allows Xin Zhao to go straight on that invasion mission, find the enemy jungler, and know he has first rotation of his mid laner, so still a lot of power for Score to back him up.
Speaking of the enemy jungler, Ning will lock in that Camille there in the jungle role. Final pick for IG.
Now, my personal experience here with the Xin Zhao Camille matchup is that you can still destroy the Camille early if you flash the hook shot.
Sure.
So you can, and then she can't even flash away after you've been able to get your charge off and land the slow. So you can definitely still win that matchup, but Camille makes very good use of long range engage and the fog of war. So while it's possible, you have to be very quick with your reactions, and definitely will have a big fight over these Scuttle Crabs.
Now, if I'm Camille and looking at my lanes, bot lane is the one that actually has the gold star, because Xayah Rakan should have easy priority in against a Kai'Sa Shen matchup that's much more for out of lane after some items on the Kai'Sa than it is for the 2v2. Jackie Love has struggled in the 2v2 situation, but also excelled with a good start. You normally need a bit of assistance to have a good start against Deft and Mata.
Especially when KT plays around Deft to the degree that they have been so far at this tournament. They've invested a lot of resources into him. He's been a big part of the leads they build for themselves early. And when KT did drop a game, Deft wasn't having a good early game. So maybe if you can slow that down a bit, there's an opportunity for IG to make something happen.
We've seen the pattern very common emerging here from blue side with the jungler starting on red and immediately routing to the bottom lane of the map. Almost all teams for the red side have placed this ward then in the tri-bush right at the start of the game, which is necessary to get a sweeper out. But you almost always have much more jungle pressure on the bottom side of the map for the blue team, simply because of where the red buff is desynced for both sides.
Entering into Summoner's Rift now for the first game of the quarterfinals. The crowd roars to life as the camera shows us the battlefield. The teams will soon clash up on. It's game one. KT Rolster versus Invictus Gaming in a best of 5. The players are already out onto the Rift, drawing that line of scrimmage across the middle of the map.
And no doubt going to be complicated feelings for Rookie, because the last time KT was in a big best of 5 in Busan, he was on that winning team for the KT Rolster Arrows 4 years ago. He looks at the enemy KT today. There are no common members. Score was on the sister team, the Bullets, at the time. But still, the irony is not lost that 4 years later, he's facing his old organization in an elimination best of 5.
And even more recently, you mentioned last time at Rift Rivals, Rookie, he played well versus KT Rolster, yet they still lost the game. And that has kind of been a trend for IG. Here we go, though, already Deft getting a lot of early health lead onto Jackie Love. Doesn't get enough autos for the passive chunk, though.
Well, you'll take anything you can get in a Xayah Rakan lane that can prove to be very tricky in terms of trading. If this even gives KT first access to level 2 in the minion wave, it's a big advantage.
Yeah, 200 health almost right there. Advantage definitely will be big, considering Kai'Sa starts Doran Ring here with the double health potions, and only the single one here for Jackie Love on the shield. But this is what we were talking about for the jungle starts for blue side, because junglers starting on their reds, and then we'll transition down towards the bottom lane.
Nice taunt from Mata there. Jackie Love forced to blow the cleanse very early.
Watching here as Score, I believe, was just about spotted on the edge of that vision, but playing bot side, you already mentioned, very standard meta movement here. Not going to be a surprise to enemy team at all, but zooming in on Jackie Love, this is a very young player, just like Yukal, who in big matches has gone missing more often than he's shown up. Of course, it's just some early trades. It's not going to be cataclysmic just yet, but we should definitely check in with Jackie Love again and again, because really this is one of those cases where the nameplates and also the scenario of a quarterfinal at Worlds is definitely going to be apparent to him.
Yeah, I think a lot of people eyes on Jackie Love after their games versus Fnatic especially. Reckless absolutely dismantled him throughout the game, and it seems to definitely stick with him. This time around, though, he has been able to fight back in CS. Early recall. Been forced back to base and picks up the refillable potion, just leaving Bao land there. So already Deft and Mata, experience advantage and controlling the minion wave.
And you can see here in the top part, Smeb versus the Shy, two of the biggest names from their respective regions, squaring off here in the top lane in what has honestly been the most iconic top matchup of the tournament so far, I believe. Every time these champions are available, you're seeing them locked in. Looks to be a pretty even match for now, as Score will move in for that second Scuttle Crab, and that means double crab control for KT.
And if they can just parlay 2 crab controls, or indeed top vision now after securing bot lane vision for KT, and just allow Smeb to farm it out till 6, he'll have the Galio back up as well to stop there being any funny business. Smeb was solo killed in that Mad Team game. He needs to be careful in a lane spot like this.
All right, Camille's greatest strength, early game ganks with hookshot out of the fog of war. Now, the ward that Smeb had protecting him does seem to have timed out. Maybe there's a Ghost Poro there sitting still, and that one will survive until it gets chased away. But Ning not feeling like Smeb pushing up enough in the lane to overextend himself. And if you overextend and gank that lane and get counter ganked by a Xin Zhao, it can go disastrously wrong.
Amusingly, because they had Scuttle control and that Ghost Poro, including the Tri-Ward as well, it would have required so many rounds of hookshot to get through vision that with the long cooldown at level 1 hookshot, just not realistic. So in spite of where the lane was positioned, the usual spot where top laners are ganked, relative safety for Smeb.
Back down on the bottom side, it's IG pushing up now with control over the lane and the tempo down here. You can see Score coming around, maybe looking for something. There is a ward from IG in the try. Teleport going to be stepped over, but teleport's coming in. Flash into the taunt. Montez starting things off. Jackie Love in some trouble, having to flash away. Yukao making the play. First blood over to KT, and they'll make it 2.
We had our sights set on the bottom lane, and KT strike first. No hesitation there. The cleanse was already burned by Jackie Love early in the lane, so Mata flashes in, immediately taunt lands, and after the teleport comes in from Yukao, beautiful follow-up.
The decisiveness here should be your takeaway. It's exquisite execution by the side of KT. We thought this would be done the moment he plucked down a control ward, but the teleport is early. The mathematical equation of cleanse down is so relevant. They get the 2-man taunt from Yukao, and that's all she wrote for the IG duo lane.
Yeah, the only way you get out of that for Jackie Love is if you flash as soon as you see the Shen start walking at you, because Mata did the taunt flash rather than the other way around, and as soon as the teleport goes, you have the information there.
And I've got to throw back to what the desk was talking about right before this match started. They were talking about the advantages for KT and how, especially in the support role, Mata's experience, his trigger pull, his ability to go in and find those initiations is just on point, and you see it right there.
Now, there is always a cost for every move you do in League of Legends. An opportunity cost, if nothing else. And in this case, Rookie, the main carry for IG on this Lissandra. Very large CS lead after Yukao left lane and burned both summoners. Rookie is always the guy for IG that you're looking at, for the hopeful games for them. Now he at least is in a position, by far highest CS in the game. He has the flash advantage and access to the level 6. Maybe he can make a play.
But the texture of the team comp here from KT is a tricky one for Lissandra to burst someone, especially when Stan United comes available. So yes, there will definitely be timings. He can first roam a lot of the time because Galio is just allowing the wave to be pushed into turret, but not the sort of game where transferring that CS lead is going to be really easy for Rookie.
Definitely very, very easy for a Lissandra Camille to kill something like a Xin Zhao.
Sure.
Bottom lane as well, still working towards their level 6s. He actually roamed down here. I don't know what they're thinking to get.
See if they decide to go after something here. 5. Valon deciding he's going to go in, but he's not able to find the CC immediately. CC coming through anyway from Rookie as the damage comes down. Valon will walk away with the kill.
Rookie hears the call, and he answers quickly. He knows if he doesn't get down there to make a play, then they aren't going to come back from this. So he immediately tries to right the bottom lane.
And the Sharks were always going to encircle Mata because he's the one who had both summoners down after the engage. Deft was unkillable in this scenario for the list. But this is the true vision here. Of course, we had it toggled before. Mata walks up, and that's when IG chooses to go.
This is exactly what I was talking about for Rookie. Heads down there. Even though Valon W's and Mata walks forward to dodge it, because Rookie hadn't revealed himself, doesn't matter, and they're able to flash in after the claw.
Small awkward thing, though. Kill credit does go to the support Baolan. It's a bit awkward that with Jackie Love and Rookie involved in the kill, the final blow doesn't go to one of them.
Yeah, that's not what you want from the side of IG. The early money is very, very important. Baolan now trying to ward here a little bit defensively, but he's got 2 people from KT Rolster to try and deal with. And it looks like Score is even going to take his control ward in payment.
Score needs one more hit to take that one down. Blast Cone's going to be exploded there as topside. Shy and Smeb getting into a 1 versus 1. Urgot v Aatrox, and it looks like Smeb's still looking to fight back here. Just finds the chain, pulls the Shy right back into it, and disengages.
Small quirk of vision is they actually managed to sneak a ward onto the Wolf camp here of IG. They saw Camille clearing, and that's why the Xin Zhao felt strong enough to contest 4 hits onto a control ward. Sort of ward that you don't necessarily assume. Unsure if IG have it scouted at all.
Still so much control here from Score and KT. He's gotten all the Scuttle Crabs leading up to this point. There's a top Scuttle Crab right now, so after he passes by a possible gank here, even if he doesn't get the gank, he can take the Scuttle Crab here on top side and keep chaining that experience and gold income for himself.
And this would be 100% Scuttle Crab still at 9 minutes. He's been on top of all of them, I believe, and it's just something the Score's been able to do in the regular season. I've seen at least 3 games where he blanketed the enemy from a single Scuttle Crab. Shows you the domination that's possible, and Xin Zhao does situationally have some of the best skirmishing matchups of any jungle.
Now he'll hand that blue buff off to his mid laner. Make sure Yucal's able to keep clearing these waves away safely, especially up against Rookie. As you guys said, this is the guy who's been put ahead, so you want to make sure Yucal's not in a bad spot up against him. You can also see the advantage that Score has built for himself. 2 kills to 0 compared to Ning, while also being up 14 CS.
And that translates very effectively into vision control when you have a strong jungler like that. KT Rolster right now, as you can see with this toggle, have far more wards on the map than IG right now. That helps tremendously in setting up these possible plays and denying opportunities for Camille to make use of some early game threat. She's really kind of wasting away here. Not only does Score have the 2 kills, but dramatic CS lead, in addition to a lot of that CS being from Scuttles.
And I want to talk about a rune that doesn't get discussed too much, which is the Ghost Borrow. We already talked about how it was scouting in the River Brush earlier. It's been replaced with a control ward there. Smeb actually slipped the Ghost Borrow into the most advanced brush to spot a lane gank from the Camille. So far, this Shy hasn't just moved into the brush to check it, so it's still there. It's complete vision for Smeb on the top side, and allows the Aatrox to continue to overextend and do the best possible in this 1v1 matchup.
Also, if you can get your Ghost Borrow onto the enemy side of the map, get a nice little bonus for attack damage there. You can see Smeb trying to zone off of the CS right now, and it seems definitely turning it in his favor. Might have a confrontation.
Yucal channeling the taunt there, throws out the Winds of War, tries to get himself over the wall, not gonna do it. The taunt does find its way onto Ning. The charge, I should say, the Justice Punch, but Yucal gets out without taking too much damage.
Yeah, the first battle has to be over the vision setup here, and we still have 3 members collapsing.
Yucal channeling the taunt once again, more damage coming through. Talking to find its way down now. Hextech Ultimatum issued down onto Galio, but here comes the heroic entrance back down onto Score. IG decide to disengage. Their jungler now very low. KT won't chase any further.
Honestly, I think that was a strong feint here from IG and good disengage that they were able to get all of those ults out. However, they sustained heavy damage in doing so, so temporarily KT do have run of this side of the map.
Still, summon is used again by Mata, and Yucal flashed as well. So unfortunately there, Deft was first to rotate. Jackie Love wasn't coming, but wasn't in range for the Killer Instinct, so they couldn't actually pick up the kill.
Yeah, Jackie Love was in base, so I think that was the best that IG could have hoped for, is getting those cooldowns. But again, as I said, KT had run of the map due to the health advantage, and they're going to transition that teamfight victory into the first Drake, which is Mountain.
They get the Mountain Drake, they maintain the perfect Scuttlecraft control. They're going to rotate bottom laners and jungler towards the enemy jungle now to clear out the control ward and get themselves back. You can see Storm Razors completed on both these AD carries. They've both been able to farm up pretty much to their heart's content. 110 CS, 12 minutes into the game for both, as Deft will move back into this bottom lane and keep that economy booming. Both of these guys, remember the Kai'Sa, the Xayah, these two very prominent AD carry picks throughout Worlds 2018 have a lot of scaling potential as the clock marches on.
But as the clock marches on, I think is an important thing to highlight because it's 13 minutes in, there's only 3 kills here. The pace of the game has been entirely set by KT Rolster, who are much more likely to turn their early leads into things like turrets to attack the kind of macro aspect of the game. IG like to get bloody, they like to have high kill games and translate from there, and that's just not the sort of start we've seen in the first 13 minutes.
And KT Rolster do boast the impressive stat of having 6 out of 6 first turrets in the games they played in groups, including the game they lost.
And it's even more specific than that. They have 100% of the first 3 turrets in those 6 games. So when it comes to both getting the first turret and taking out the outer ring, you can look at KT Rolster to be the prototype of a team that can achieve that.
Yeah, they've been softening up the bottom turret throughout this game, but right now we've got a top movement from Score right through the side brush.
Shy clears out the minions. Still seemingly unaware that Score is here. They're going to wait for that minion wave to collide and then make their move. The Shy still pretty far forward here. Smeb going forward, finding himself a single knockup. Not going to look for anything else just yet. Shy getting himself back. Smeb trying to bait him into this one, and here comes Score. There's your play. Disdain to get himself away, but the damage still coming through. Wind becomes blinding, gonna find both parts. The damage continues pouring in. Smeb looking to go even further. Score goes on a killing spree. Smeb's tanking up the turret, but not too worried. That's 1 kill for KT.
Vision plays so strong by KT, both defensively for the Aatrox earlier and slipping into the second brush. No idea there by the shot.
I mean, Smeb and Score here just taking over. No answer so far from Ning. It would have to be on the bottom side of the map. That is the weak side, but KT are so good at communicating, and Deft and Mata playing this weak side, just backing up very respectively, just placing those wards and allowing IG to move in.
From groups to quarterfinals, KT has no intention of dropping that perfect record on first turrets just yet. They'll pick up that objective, they'll pick up the kill, they'll continue to build their early game lead up 2,000 gold almost at this point as IG looks to make a push towards the bottom side.
See the defense here from the side of KT. Remember Galio, they're gonna start with the TP early from the Aatrox.
Moving into position means IG moves out. They don't want to risk any sort of a collapse here from the rest of KT. Even though Rookie was rotating down, it's not a fight they want to take.
Yeah, seeing in the teleport, they can't answer. The Shy has swapped over with Spellbook. He's got Heal and Ignite on the Urgot right now in top lane, trying to get that wave pushed back out after his turret was taken. So IG, as soon as they see that they have to back off, they did get a decent cooldown with that Summoner spell blown, but that is not going to be big enough payment for the first turret bonus gold and the amount of territory that KT will now have to work with. Now, lane ganks like this, very, very effective, especially early on in the game. And you can see, as soon as they get the charge and the slow, it's very easy for this combination to run any champion down under the turret. You just pop your ult on Aatrox, start tanking the turret first, and you have plenty of time to finish it off.
And the Xinjiao once again picks up the kills. 100% kills actually picked up by Score. Already mentioned how Galio will be there to back him up. Does allow him to be pretty reckless in how far forward he's able to go. Seeing the mid lane though.
Turret destroyed bottom side as KT look to make a play here mid. The Shy and Rookie going to defend this one. 2 versus 3 so far. Going to be taking Yukao very, very low. Seeing if they can maybe find the kill. Instead, they're going to find the damage down. Instead, onto Mata. Kill number 1 going over to IG. Yukao going to be taken very low. Charmed up, brought down, double kill. Over to the side of Invictus Gaming. Looking to make it even more, and they strike back.
That's huge for IG. Score was on the top side getting that Rift Herald, and they strike so quickly. The Shy on Urgot starts it all off, and IG trying to get a turret as well.
KT only have 3 men to defend this structure, and it doesn't look like defense is in the cards much longer. It'll be taken almost down there. The final blow dealt by the Xayah, and that means that the turret lead now goes to Invictus Gaming.
And it plays back to what we were saying. All the kills on Score means a lot of the gold lead was on that veteran jungler as well. Aatrox is helping out Score on the Rift Herald when this all starts. UCal walks up and they just can't fully disengage after the Galio just goes a bit too aggressively trying to find a taunt.
Yeah, this was huge from the Shy and IG in general. He got so much damage out early and lands the Urgot ultimate while also getting out of range of the knockup from Galio. And during this whole time, Score stays on the Rift Herald to finish that objective. It's a case of KT trying to get too many things at the same time, and IG with a very good punishment.
It's one of those why are you fighting moments, especially from Score. It seemed like Aatrox just disengaged, tried to see what was happening, but UCal did not need to walk up and fish for a taunt when they were already getting an objective on the map.
Yeah, there's no way they can finish that fight quick enough that members of IG can't roam from the map. We saw immediately as the skirmish breaks out, all members of IG start to head up towards the mid lane.
And now IG's feeling good about the outcome of that fight. This game was 2,000 gold apart, now almost dead even. A second Elemental Drake will spawn. IG already has 3 people there to take care of it. 4 now that Ning shows up, and it looks like there's going to be no contact.
The reason for that is that KT have globals. They have long cooldowns on their abilities. No reason to contest an Ocean Drake when the Galio ult's down, when the Shen ult's down, even Aatrox ult was on cooldown. So you give it over. That, of course, is the cost of making a poor play in the mid lane.
Remember also, all of the KT kills are on Score. They're on the jungler. So if he is somewhere else on the map, that is a large portion of the gold for the entire team. And he was just trying to play another, top lane brush gank for himself up there. And the Shy was able to scout it out. They did reveal him. Now they're trying to clear some of these control wards that KT have so meticulously set up, though. Let's see if they can actually pull a trap off.
KT playing to their vision. They set it up on the top side of the map. They want to find an objective, maybe even a Rift Herald summon on the top side. They're re-invading now, knowing Baolan's walking up, but they have to clear wards and not the sort of aggressive move here that'll find too much fruit for KT.
4 members of KT hanging around the enemy jungle right now. UCal splitting off in that bottom lane, does have the teleport available. Heroic entrance also coming off of cooldown as we speak, as IG will just continue farming up and clearing out their own jungle.
Now is the exciting part, because we have 2 teams about to transition into the mid game where setup for possible flanks in these team fights can be insanely explosive. On the side of IG, they have the Lissandra and the Rakan, 2 of the deadliest flankers in the game, with a possible setup from Camille. So this could be a very quick initiation. And of course, on the side of KT, they're working with the Galio counter, Shen counter. So it's going to be a lot about managing those cooldowns and the vision on the side so you don't get immediately burst.
But this is a world that's been defined by hard engage, and KT have very situational engage. Speaking of engage,
it's Ning going in, trying to start this one off. Score's going to bring out the counterattack for KT Rolster. Teleport coming in now from IG. Going to be canceled. There's no way they can make sure that one goes off. Not in a 1 versus 4. Shelly summoned up here in the mid lane, making her charge towards the tier 1. Def keeping himself out of danger, but Smith now going to be the one who's potentially targeted. Ning going to be taken very low, goes into stasis, keeping himself alive. Balon on the retreat, but it's a rampage over for Score. Shy goes into the fight. He's able to find the suppression into the fear, into the damage, into Def, who's going to be forced to flash away. Rookie's in hot pursuit and locks them down for a double kill.
Huge win by the side of IG. It's still going.
UCal falls to Jackie Love on the back end of the fight, and IG, after a massive win, will head towards Baron.
They lost their jungler, though, so they don't have Smite, and they're making the call to change it and go for the turret, with the only surviving member on KT being Score, and the threat there, it is very early. That was a 20.5-minute Baron over here with the jungler. Definitely a possibility, but you can tell the way that this game has changed since the early setup and the big mid play from Invictus Gaming. Here's another look at the setup. Papa Smithy, take us through the first attempt.
Now, obviously IG a high feed, that's why they started the Baron. It's because of a team fight like this. If you notice, Mata comes in looking for a taunt, doesn't find it, and KT think, okay, let's just go back to the Rift Herald. To start here, we didn't find a pick. We already mentioned they don't have strong engage. It's a really nice flank timing by the Shy, who pops the Righteous Glory, and then even though the start appears good for KT, they no longer have threat onto the carries of IG very early.
And the biggest thing that stood out to me in this was Invictus Gaming seeing the Aatrox ultimate timeout for Smeb. Aatrox without the ultimate is maybe 40% as effective and they immediately jump on KT Rolster, who are sitting and kind of meandering around mid lane, relying on the counter initiation of a Galio ultimate, but that is not enough to make up for the difference in that cooldown.
And let's go back to what Papa Smithy said after the first play made by KT in the bottom lane. There's a cost to everything, and the cost was Rookie getting ahead. What Kobe said back then. That's my bad.
We are one and the same.
We're all a team here, ladies and gentlemen. It's what Kobe said. My bad. I mixed up my color commentators this time.
You get one,
but
Captain
now,
Flowers.
all
You
right.
can have it in game number 1.
All right, game number 1. Fine. But the point we're trying to make here is the fact that Rookie's at 6 out of 7 kill participation, 0 deaths, Hourglass and Protobelt completed, which means this Lysandra is putting in that heavy lifting that Rookie is known for doing for this team.
And IG are happy to push up into the inner turret in top because they now finally have vision control on a relevant side of the map. Previously, it was KT dictating the pace. Now IG have the vision control and the cleaner initiation options. So you notice KT even score, second guessing every moment they take.
Yeah, we're definitely entering stage 3 here of this game. KT Rolster had a very good opening, but Invictus Gaming, with back-to-back fights around mid lane, have taken control. And now the setup is theirs. Papa Smithy, as you mentioned, Invictus Gaming have such good initiation tools that with a vision setup, it makes it very, very easy for them to try and draw KT into bad positioning.
And look at where the kills are on IG, because we already had talked about how everything's on the jungle on the side of KT, but for the side of IG, it's 3 for the Shy, 2 for Rookie. You've got 1 on Jackie Love as well. The money's going a little bit all over the place, but it's enabling them to all be effective in these fights. You saw how effortlessly the Shy was able to jump in and find the ults, find the damage in that last big fight in the mid lane, and now with a nearly 3,000 gold lead, IG just seems to be completely in control.
Now, also, don't let that last team fight fool you. If KT Rolster have all of their cooldowns and Smeb still has the Aatrox ultimate available, they can very well win a team fight still. Even with this gold disadvantage that they are now at, it will definitely be more difficult. But again, the counter initiation options of a Galio and a Shen could come in very clutch.
And for once, though, the gold lead, I think, is very demonstrable until this moment. Because in the previous fight, all the gold being on score meant that he had a very early Sterix, but there was no Sterix on Aatrox, just finished. There was no Rage Blade on Deft. We noticed how there was an 1,800 gold lead for score, and everyone was down about 900 gold. That 900 is things as core as Rage Blade second for the Kai'Sa. It's such big jumps in power that weren't actually available on the side of KT. Meanwhile, Jackie Love has been sitting on 2 items for more than a little bit of time here, so because of that particular gold lead, it was more felt because Score couldn't dominate the fight at the start.
And especially in professional play, items with very powerful activations play a very large role in these team fights. In the last one, it was the stopwatch on Ning, on this Camille. He would have died far earlier in that team fight had he not had that available. This time around, though, stopwatch is on the side of Score as well as a Zhonya's for UCal and Rookie. Both mid laners can create a lot of zoning in these team fights. Let's see about the setup here, though. KT trying to run IG off of their own control wards.
Yeah, they're trying to get IG out of this river here. You can see IG setting up vision around the area with some of those control wards down. KT removing one now as IG move into the KT jungle to clear out some vision. Control ward over the wall will spot out a little bit more for them to take out as Score and the rest of KT back themselves up. They know IG is off to the side. They don't want to be caught unaware. As you can see, pings from IG onto the Baron pit.
Remember that KT do have 2 members picking up farm to close the gold lead. They need to teleport, though. There's a lot of channel time there, and now there's darkness around the back.
The lights are out, fellas, and now KT feeling the pressure. They do get close enough to check, but not close enough for the engage.
See a control ward in the inventory of UCal, but that is pretty much it as IG have started up the Baron. KT aware of this now, moving in, wanting to stop that. They've got their Aatrox split pushing on the bottom side of the map. Score not going to find anything with the ulti. Deft's caught out by the Hextech ultimatum, goes into the stasis with the stopwatch immediately. Score going to be on the front line, but he will not survive too much longer. It's Rookie zoning away the rest of KT. Score's going to be taken low, shut down. The Shy finds his man as Rookie goes invulnerable, and KT heads for the hills. Deft's going to be chased down by the Shy. The damage pours through, but he's going to be outplayed for now. Can the Shy even find this? It's UCal buying some time for the other 4 members. Deft and Modable trying to survive, but over the wall comes Rookie. Say hello to Invictus Gaming. It's 5 versus 1.
And they're not done yet. They have their eyes on Deft, chasing him down. Run, Kaiser, run!
He's running away from his base. He tries to turn it around, but it's a clean ace for IG.
That means a clean Baron for IG. No one left to answer here. And this game has gone into full overdrive. With that bump, they will be inside the KT Rolster base in no time.
Sort of game that was always going to be a seesaw, and we saw KT in ascendancy, but the fallback of having strong engage and KT making some small mistakes has been punished to the maximum by IG, an ace, and also the Baron. It all started here. We talked about the vision. Remember, vision control and a Baron start with this level of engage meant that Ning could jump in and always find his man.
Yeah, Ning, he tried to flash, doesn't get the stun, but they do get the Zhonya's out of depth as well as the Galio ultimate. And that was a very good disengage by Ning. He just turns his attention towards the front line where Invictus Gaming completely demolished KT Rolster. And then there's no one left to stand in front.
No value out of Score's 4 kills in that fight because they traded places. The Galio went in the back. Score was stuck in the middle, getting hit by 4 members. Died very quickly, and then it was the cleanup crew from the side of IG.
Everybody shows up to the party, fashionably late, of course, but they brought plenty of presents in the form of things that are going to turn your health bar pretty red pretty quick, as Deft learns. And the ace plus the Baron means it's time for KT to dig in and defend here at the inhibitor turret line. IG pushing up strong here in the bottom lane. 4 members there. The Shy bouncing back and forth between mid and bottom, ready to provide some split push or join the team if necessary. And it looks like it's just going to be a strong push. Taking this one down, breaking into the base, inhibitor exposed as IG will rotate resources and manpower up towards the mid lane next. They have no intention of slowing this one down anytime soon. The Shy gets hit by the chains from the Aatrox, but it does not matter. IG have now taken down 2 of the KT Rolster inhibitors almost instantly after acquiring the Baron. Nexus turret number 1 under fire as KT has to find some kind of a chance to go in soon or they won't have anything left to defend. The Shy's gonna be jumped on by Score, but it doesn't do anything. He's forced back into the fountain. IG will continue the push. Nexus turret number 2, barely half alive. The Shy keeping Mata in the fountain. The turret nearly gone. Jackie Love going up into the ultimate, gonna be kept alive for now. Charm down onto Smith, damage coming through. Death's already dead. Ning makes sure of that one, and Jackie goes unstoppable. It's a double kill for IG's jungler. It's a slaughter for Invictus Gaming. KT is wiped off the map, and the Nexus will join them.
And Invictus Gaming win the first game in this best of 5 through back-to-back team fighting.
And that was always going to be one of their ways to use strong engage to find picks, to slow down the macro approach of KT. And it happened too many times in a row. By the end, it was looking like it could only be one victor in every team fight. Clean game by IG.
KT was ahead early. They made the first play bottom. They seemed like they were off to a good start, but some mistakes got punished. IG kept a cool head, and it rewarded them incredibly.
It's one of those hard to execute comps coming out from KT. The low engage means you need to define the battlefield. Put down the control wards, enemy comes to you. You can make the team fight work. We saw very early after they lost their first team fight, if they have to go to the enemy, things fall apart.
Much cleaner game from Invictus Gaming than a lot of people expected in game number 1, I think.
Well, to hear how they took game 1 and break down how everything happened, let's hear from the State Farm Analyst Desk.
Thank you, Captain Flowers. What a way to kick off the quarterfinal day. KT enter as favorites, and IG knocked them down in game 1 to take the lead in the series at 1-0. Deficio, you had called out from the get-go that you believed IG would benefit from being on red side. I want to pull up the draft and take a look at the strategies both teams employed here to try and get their first win.
Yeah, so interestingly enough, I thought the red side would benefit because of counter picks in the solo lanes, but they didn't actually get that in this draft. They blind picked their mid laner in Lissandra. They said, we have to take it. We don't want to give it over to KT, so they take that at pick number 4 and actually give UCal the chance to grab his mid laner after. Yeah. And the Urgot Aatrox is the normal trait we see, so it wasn't like a Fiora counter pick or something for the Shy.
5 mid lane bans.
Some of them
by
kind of
KT
top lane
Rolster.
too.
And I know that you just said, like the Aatrox Urgot, that's the normal change. But for me, I hone in on this and I'm just like, this is KT being too prideful. This was the hubris finally biting them in the ass. They decided to take the Aatrox. So the thing is when Urgot gets spellbook, he has the 1v1 pressure on the Aatrox. And KT usually move away from that window, and that's what you saw. That was when the gank came out from score. He's like, okay, Smeb can no longer be left alone. We're going to actually send some attention up into the top side. But they were never able to break that window or try to find the counterplay there. They were able to neutralize, get through the lane phase, and then Urgot was such a big factor in team fights, and I feel like KT cannot make that same mistake again. They tried to skill check it, and they failed.
Very interesting to see KT, though, target that mid lane when it comes to ban. Rookie still is able to fall onto that Lissandra, and we'll get to a point where we can watch him make plays, but the early game was all KT favored. In particular, the bot lane. We called out the mismatch, and it showed.
Yeah, absolutely. I think KT's draft strategy was to actually give away the strong champions to IG's weaker players, then play through that lane to technically try and shut IG down through the early game. Mata's been great at this all tournament, getting early summoners at level 1 to set up ganks before the summoners come back, and they had insane bot pressure and vision control for the first 18 minutes.
Exactly, and I think, to me, the composition they drafted was not supposed to be, big 5-on-5 team fight draft. It was very much super strong skirmish jungler, very strong lanes with setup you could actually play towards, so strong lane setup, in Shen, and of course Aatrox top lane, where he also got up and got a kill in the first turret. So to me, it was like, okay, this game is just gonna snowball.
Right.
KT are gonna get full map control, they have double global, they're gonna start getting ahead multiple lanes, but despite full vision control and everything, as we can even look at, nothing really came of it.
That is what I want to take a look at, though, still. This idea of the suffocating style of KT. Take a look at the mini-maps as well as we have it zoomed out, the number of control wards that will go down and the overall control that KT has of this bot side of the map.
And it's also really important that when you're watching the game to watch where KT ping. Their ability to track the enemy jungler and know where the play is for the enemy team almost at every single moment means not only are they setting up their own play cross-map, but they're absorbing any sort of chance that you have for a counterpunch, which is why we say they're such a suffocating style. They not only take every opportunity, they deny you every opportunity.
So, if KT gets full river control, on both sides even, you can't make plays
How did
there.
they lose?
What do you do against it? This is a classic strategy. There's even a game mode called all random, all mid. And that's how you break it. If you can't go into the river, go into the mid lane. You can't ward that.
But this is why the Camille pick was so important. I think that's what KT should really hone in on, because when you have the Camille, it doesn't matter what happens in the early game, which Ning was very non-existent for that early game. He is just a giant red trigger button. He just says, we're going to fight right this second.
The mechanical prowess of IG. We said it can't be ignored. These are players that if they find themselves in a team fight, do have the ability to outmaneuver you. KT uncharacteristically aggressive here.
And this was when KT thought they had caught out Rookie. Rookie outplays the initial Galio taunt that lowers them on cooldowns. They combo Lissandra ult and Urgot ult to get a good start off, and they really did bait KT into this fight.
I just want to highlight that scores on Rift Herald during this entire fight. So it was like, hey, he's doing Rift Herald, we hold him mid, we think we can get him. And now they're fighting the mid lane, screw your vision in the side lanes, it doesn't matter because it's just constant A-ramps right now. And this actually looked really bad at first, but Ning bought so much time, and then the Shy gets the flank off and Rookie gets a good ulti. That's how you get the first kill.
Yeah, and then unfortunately at this point in the game, Deft is just too far behind on the Kai'Sa. He needs way too much time to ramp up to make it a fair fight, so IG recognize that they have the springboard and they start going on the aggressive, throwing pressure at the Baron and forcing KT to face check.
But it's so interesting to me that KT, one of the smartest teams in the world, kept opting in towards multiple members mid. Had they kept Aatrox side lane and had Xin Zhao play towards that lane, plus that Galio and Shen ulti who can hold mid or the other side lane, you have so much pressure against an Urgot who is not in a team fight then. But they kept hovering towards mid with IG, and IG had Rakan, which they early picked. They had the Camille, which is great for Ning, so they could always engage. And that was kind of strange, because to me, KT normally understand how to play in all three lanes, but here they tunneled too hard on mid, and that got punished.
I think there was also an issue that, with having the Kai'Sa, because they had the opportunity to grab the Xayah and actually park their ADC or just some sort of wave clear and then have the safety. With the Kai'Sa, you don't get that same afforded safety because you don't have the ultimate that Xayah does. So I also think that there were a couple drafting errors. I think not forcing Ning onto Gragas was a drafting error. I think taking the Aatrox over the Urgot in team fighting was a drafting error, and I think prioritizing Kai'Sa over Xayah was a drafting error, in my opinion.
All that said, with control over the game and the global objectives, the final fight came 27 minutes in, went in favor of Invictus Gaming. MasterCard player of the game, though, going to Rookie in the mid lane. He absorbs 5 bans and still finds a way to be impactful on the map.
Yeah, even with the roam bottom where he extended Flash Ultimate, he still had 99 CS at 10 and a plus 32 CST at 15. He doesn't miss CS that are there, and he's so good at denying and making plays. Like, very close between him and the Shy. We said the 2 check marks when we did the lane by lane went to IG in both of those solo lane positions, and ultimately, those guys got ahead, and those guys succeeded in team fights.
The first game goes in favor of IG. They have side selection here in game 2 with that dynamic seeding, as you said. They have elected to stay on red side, no subs. Jat, what are your thoughts?
Well, we've talked a lot about all the technical stuff, but we haven't necessarily talked about the mental stuff and what the momentum could mean for IG right here. This is a team that has not been historically good in best of fives. Jackie Love was in interviews saying how they would struggle in best of fives, but when they're able to go into this game against KT, absorb all of the early game punches, and then fight back and land heavy hits in team fights, I think that does wonders for their confidence in how bold they will continue to be in these draft phases. And I think KT will change their draft strategy by the nature that they lost the game. So I can't wait to see what they do, but this is a very dangerous time for KT, who are one of the favorites to win the whole tournament.
Could just first pick the Urgot this time if they want to play team fights.
There you go.
Team fights like Frost highlighted before. If you want to go 5-man mid lane, you take the Urgot, not the Aatrox.
Otherwise, all in all, sounds like an adjustment is necessary for KT to find a win in our second game. A reminder that All-Star voting has begun, so make sure you submit your ballot for the second, or rather 2, regional representatives you'd like to send to the eSports Arena in Las Vegas. All-Star voting is live until Wednesday, October 24th at 10 a.m. Pacific or 7 p.m. Central European Summertime. For more information on the new format and to keep up with who's currently topping the charts, check out the article on LeagueOfLegends.com. We're taking a break. When we return, it's Game 2 of KT Rolster versus Invictus Gaming. See you soon.
Jackie Love in some trouble, having to flash away. Yukao making the play. First blood over to KT, and they'll make it 2. Kill number 1 going over to IG. Yukao going to be taken very low. Charged up, brought down, double kill. Over to the side of Invictus Gaming. He's able to find the suppression into the fear, into the damage, into death. Who's going to be forced to flash away? Rookie's in hot pursuit and locks them down for a double kill. It's Yukao buying some time for the other 4 members. Deft and Model trying to survive, but over the wall comes Rookie. Say hello to Invictus Gaming. It's a double kill for IG's jungler. It's a slaughter for Invictus Gaming. KT is wiped off the map, and the Nexus will join them.